Buying sight unseen is one of the biggest risks in home buying, but it is a necessary risk for many members of the military. Here are the 5 most important things to keep in mind if you are forced to buy a home sight unseen. So what does sight unseen mean exactly? Well, it's a situation where a buyer is forced to purchase a home from afar, meaning that they do not physically see the home for themselves prior to closing, or maybe they do right before closing. And this happens all the time. It happened to me when I bought my first home, PCSing from Colorado Springs to Anchorage, Alaska. Obviously, I could not go up to Alaska to look at homes because of the demands with my unit at that time. So I had to rely on an agent in the system to help me purchase a home in Alaska from, many miles away. And it did not go very well for me. So I want to impart upon you the lessons that I learned in buying a home sight unseen. Okay, the first and most important aspect of buying sight unseen is linking in with a real estate agent that you can trust and is going to put in the work on your behalf. Okay, because you are relying on this person even more than usual because you cannot do your own due diligence on the ground. You cannot go see the home. You cannot go take a look at the surrounding neighborhood. You cannot drive around town to get a gauge on where the schools and amenities and all that are. They have to do all of this for you. But it's going to start with a virtual tour of that home. Now, not every agent is very good at this. Okay, I have found this out the hard way. So make sure if you are buying a home sight unseen, that you ask your agent if they are accustomed to this, because some of these virtual tours that they do are really, really good. And then I've seen some stuff that was just terrible. Like it was just a bunch of shadowy spots, heavy breathing into the microphone, and not a whole lot of detail. So you got to make sure they're good at it. Also, in this day and age, a lot of listings feature 3D walkthroughs right on the MLS. So they can send you a link, like a YouTube link, and you watch it, and it is like a 3-dimensional virtual walkthrough of the home. So that could be something that you could use to your advantage as well. But it doesn't just stop with the interior of the home, okay? Make sure that agent is giving you a tour, video tours of the exterior of the property, the condition of your neighbors' yards, how far apart they are from each other, the neighborhood. I would drive around the neighborhood, hanging the phone out the window, make them go to the local school where you think your children will go, drive around there, get some pictures, get some videos. They're going to get paid on this transaction, so make sure they're earning their money. And lastly, when you do arrive on site, whenever that is, whether it's halfway through the transaction, right before closing, after closing, ensure that person is there at the home to meet you with your keys. The home has been cleaned, everything is presentable. So that's what did not happen to me. We showed up in Alaska during March. We had to dig our house key out from 18 inches of snow. The home was filthy. Then when the thaw, the snow melted, there was a bunch of junk laying around the yard. Do not let this happen to you. Ensure your agent is working for you throughout the entirety of the transaction. Okay, number 2, and this has become much more possible here in the last 10 to 20 years because of the internet and all the resources available through that. But research the neighborhood, the zip code from afar. That's just Google research. You can look up crime data, Facebook groups. Like almost every neighborhood now has a Facebook group that you can join. And you can ask questions, or you can just go through the historical posts and see what has been asked and answered, what the problems in the neighborhood are. Is there an HOA? How good is the HOA? What do they handle on the part of the homeowners? And then, of course, school ratings. This is the big one that, of course, a lot of parents, especially the moms, ask right off the bat. All right, they want a list of the available school districts, the schools, and the ratings. And there's a few different websites where you can get those ratings. Of course, you can talk to people on the ground who have kids in those schools. They might give you a different perspective on those schools, but you've got to do your due diligence, which is another reason why in almost every video I tell you, don't wait till the last minute to get started. Start your due diligence and the application process at minimum 90 days out. So you have plenty of time to gather all this very, very important data. Number 3, the home inspection. Now, whether it's sight unseen, or you're there, whatever, you should always, always, always get a home inspection. Even if you are intending on purchasing a home as is, you still get a home inspection, okay? Because that report is for you. And it's going to be a diagnostic exam of that home from foundation to roof, everything in between. And it's going to give you a pretty clear picture of what you are inheriting, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. And if there's a lot of wear and tear, that'll show up. You know, if there's some potentially catastrophic issues, like that can show up as well. And this is even more important when you are buying sight unseen and you're not able to tour the home for yourself, or maybe go knock on the neighbor's door and ask them about the home's history. So you are really, really relying on this report. Do not skip this step. In fact, when you hire your home inspector, make sure they know that you're not even in the state. Maybe you're not even in the country, and you're relying on them for an extra portion of due diligence. Now, again, getting a home inspection is not required by the VA, but it should be a non-negotiable part of the process. I've come across a few agents that advised their buyers to just skip the home inspection. And in my opinion, any agent that says that should be fired on the spot, okay? Never, never, never skip the home inspection, but it's critically, critically important if you're buying sight unseen. If you do want to talk a lot more about home inspections, you know, what it's for, what comes out of it, what the report looks like, the repairs negotiation period that the inspection kicks off, please reach out and we can discuss that in a lot more depth. Number 4, closing day. Now, traditionally, you will be at the local title office or attorney's office, as the case may be, to physically sign all your paperwork with the settlement agent. That's how it was done for a very long time, and a lot of real estate transactions are still done that way. But if you are purchasing sight unseen, then most likely you're not going to be able to be there on the day of closing to sign in the traditional way, but that's okay, because there are a few options available to you. Okay, so you got to know what the options are, and then you got to let your agent and your lender know that you're not going to be there on closing, so they can run through these options with you and figure out which one best suits your needs. Now, here we go. The first one is mobile notary. So let's say Private Lindsay here in Colorado, PCS into JBLM, but for whatever reason, I cannot be there for a closing. So step number 1 is that the title company and the lender will work together to send a mobile notary to my location. They can come to my house. They can meet me at work. We can meet at, Starbucks, whatever. That notary will meet me, walk me through the documents, and then that notary will be responsible for overnighting them back to the title company at JBLM. Okay, we do this all the time. Now, option number 2, let's say that, Private Lindsay, not only can he not be there physically, but he's going to be at a training event on the day of closing. Well, you can have a spouse, a family member, or even a friend sign for you via power of attorney. Okay, more often than not, the title company will generate a power of attorney specific to that transaction. So it'll have the address in there. It'll have very specific verbiage for real estate transactions in there. Okay, spouse, family member, friend signs, mobile notary will overnight it back to the title company. Okay, option number 3, and this one, not every closing agency will support this yet, but it kind of is the way of the future, and that's called a RON, or a remote online notary. And that's basically where you will log into a secure, kind of like a Zoom chat. The closing rep is on the other side, and they walk you through all the documents just like they would if you were there in person. You sign it digitally, and then boom, you're done. Okay, so if you're buying sight unseen, you really gotta look at these options and figure out as early as possible which one of these best suits your needs. Okay, because you can't wait to the last minute to organize any of this stuff. All right, last but not least, okay, this is something that happened to me on both homes that I purchased sight unseen, and that is, you're doom scrolling Zillow, right? You find your home, you go through you see the videos, you're on Zillow every night looking at these pictures of your new home, you build it up in your mind. It's only natural that when you first see it in person, you're going to be a little disappointed. And this happened to me both times, okay? And it's just because weeks and weeks and weeks I'm building something up in my head, it's never going to live up to how you imagine it. So both times when I entered into these homes, I felt a wave of disappointment, like, oh man, did I make a mistake? But given just a little time, maybe walking around out there in the yard, like letting things settle in, once I got used to how it was in reality versus how it was inside my head, I started to come around really quickly on both homes. And in fact, at the end, I really, really liked both homes, okay? But if you do purchase a home sight unseen, and then the first time you do see it, whenever that is, don't be surprised or disappointed if you do feel a little bit of a letdown. It's only natural because reality can never keep up with what's in your head. Okay, so just be prepared for that. So these are the 5 most important things to keep in mind if you're going to purchase a home sight unseen. Now, if you are going to embark on this journey, or you're forced to, whether you like to or not, and you would like to talk about my experiences, again, I've purchased 2 homes sight unseen. If you'd like to talk with me about my experiences and the lessons learned, please reach out. You can call, email, whatever. I'll be more than happy to talk you through how we did it, what worked out for us, and what I could have done better. If you like this video, then please check out all of my other videos on VA loans, home buying, and VA entitlements.